All right, Christopher Cook with Alliance Insurance Services is here answering your questions about all kinds of car insurance. Or we got to have some that are kind of similar. This person wants to know if someone else is driving their car, like they let someone borrow their car and that person gets into an accident with their car, is it the person who borrowed the car's insurance that pays to fix the car or the person who owns the car?
Yeah, I like to oversimplify things, and basically, insurance follows the tag. And what I mean by that is insurance is going to go to whoever's that vehicle is registered to. So if I let you borrow my car and you have an accident, my auto insurance policy is going to pay.
Does that mean that they're going to
Um,
go after the other person to be compensated?
no, they're not. They're
Does it mean
not.
that I can go
It-
after them to be compensated and for them to pay my deductible?
that's between that would be between the two parties. Yes. But no, that's you're not going to typically go after them. I mean, that's a conversation to be had amongst friends. Something interesting to make sure I point out: if I'm insuring my car and my mom's living with me, let's say, and I don't list her on my auto insurance policy, my mama borrows my car. She has an accident. If I didn't list her on my auto policy and she has no insurance, insurance companies can and most likely will deny that claim. So earlier we talked about you have to be insured in this state to have a driver's license. If you have access to an automobile in the residence you live in, you must be listed on that auto policy to be covered. And if you're not and you have an accident, your insurance company, or the insurance company of that car rather, may deny that claim because you weren't listed as a driver.
Interesting. Okay. Even if they don't normally drive, but they happen to drive that one time.
State law says if you are a full-time resident of that household, you have to be listed, and that's a law thing.
Okay. All right. This person says, if you live in two states, how do you handle insurance?
You buy the insurance for that vehicle wherever the vehicle is registered. So you buy the policy in the state the vehicle is registered in.
Okay. If a tree on the property where I rent my apartment falls on my car, who is responsible to pay for the damage of my car?
I call that entity God. Some people call it Mother Nature, but your car insurance policy is the one that's going to pay for the damages.
Okay, so, and I think we have a graphic that kind of talks about this. Tree damage is like one of the most common questions because, you know, who is responsible for the tree damage? And usually the answer is always the same.
Yeah, it's the party that received the damage, unfortunately, whomever is hurt.
But they say, but my neighbor, it's their tree, it's their fault.
Sure, yeah, if your neighbor was negligent because they didn't clean up their dead tree and they knew it was dead and you had notified them that it was dead and they still didn't clean it up, then it would be their fault. Healthy, living, beautiful tree that the wind blows over. Your neighbor had nothing to do with that. That's Mother Nature.
Gotcha. This person says, can I buy insurance when I don't own a vehicle?
Yes, we talked about a non-owner's policy a minute ago, and that's when you would do that. I caution people to be very, very careful because if they live with someone who does own a vehicle, they're supposed to be listed on that auto policy.
Someone wants to know, is there a policy to protect against someone stealing your home or taking a loan out against it?
There is some coverage out there like that. I'm not as familiar with it as some other folks, but that's primarily a cyber liability type of policy to protect against all the cyber thieves and criminals that are out there. Cyber theft has become the #1 crime in the world by incident number, not by severity. But so yes, you can buy coverage for that. I don't have as much knowledge as I wish I did.
Okay, this person's asking, if a tree is leaning near the house, will insurance help pay to take it down?
No, insurance also won't help to change the air filters in your car or the oil filters in your car. Those are maintenance items, and that's the responsibility of the owner.
Okay, and normally if there's a tree that's down in your yard, causes like no damage to your house, but it's just in your yard, it's not going to pay for cutting up the tree and moving that either.
No, ma'am, that's exactly right. It's not normally going to pay. The exception to that is if it's blocking the entry to your property, which is sometimes happens. It's across the driveway or it's across the sidewalk where you can't get into the front door. But for the most part, just a random tree falls in the middle of your yard. No one's hurt. No building is damaged. No cars are damaged. There's no cleanup coverage typically.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we thank you for your time and your expertise on this day. And if you missed any of this, maybe you got a squibble with someone about some insurance thing, you can rewatch this interview. It's going to be in the 2 Wants to Know section.